Hi.
How's it going?
Hey guys.
It's
the
Migas.
Ooh, that was nice.
Oh, yeah. And welcome to episode 2 of season 6.
We're here.
We're here.
We're here. And we're matching. I love this.
I know.
I love all the blue vibes.
Unintentionally, too. So,
But we're here.
same brain. Didn't we say that yesterday? We were like, same brain.
When don't we say that?
No, it's usually, get out of my brain.
Yes.
And I'm like, sorry.
It's a permanent residential spot there. Like, get a floor. Because there's a couple other people.
Right? Seriously. I'm in the penthouse, so just saying.
My bad. She has moved up to the VIP floor.
Well, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
2025.
2025.
What a time to be alive.
We have arrived. And we switched up a little bit of the background here for you.
Yes. If you're
We're
watching
ready.
on YouTube.
Right.
So it's the Migas Podcast on YouTube. Don't forget. Check us out there.
And
You
don't
get to
forget
see-
to, we're also on Instagram,
Yes.
Spotify,
Apple Podcasts.
all
and
that jazz.
All that jazz. And all that jazz.
But we're bringing you some Valentine's Day vibes because it's next month, obviously. But if you're already shopping in the stores, I think in December, you could have found stuff for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
So if you're hearing this and you're planning on throwing something for Valentine's, this is the time to go source out all your things. If you need anything brand new, do it now. Trust me, do not wait till February 1st because you're going to be asked out.
But Dollar Tree has really nice stuff.
Right, but all that stuff, it's like, it'll be gone
Yeah.
next week. So again, you heard it here from us. We are your resource for the shopping, getting all the cute little goodies and cutesy things and the deets.
Yeah.
Get it now, sis.
That's right.
Or bro.
Or bro. How was your New Year?
New Year was absolutely great. Tradition is to take Caleb to the little gym in Wayne, their New Year's Eve celebration. And it's nice because I think I've seen other places host it. I think Goldfish Swim School hosted it as well. And it's great, again, for that age. And then I also seen another hack, and I'm sure you've seen it, where the parents do the ball drop like at 8 p.m. and send the kids off to bed.
Smart.
Super smart. So if you still have a child that does not understand
Time.
what time it is, put it in your note box for this 2025 going into 2026, this New Year's Eve. Do that.
Yeah.
It's the best, and the kids don't fall out of their routine. But if you have a party animal like I have, don't worry about it. They'll sleep when they'll sleep. Because exactly with Caleb. I think he was still up at 2:30 in the morning.
Oh.
And just let it be. Again, the next day was a lazy day, but we hosted in our home. It was, I think, our first time ever hosting New Year's Eve, now that I realize, and kept it as intimate as possible. And obviously, if you know me, you know that's hard. And it was kind of like also last minute. Originally, it was supposed to be at my mom's house, but she had already hosted Christmas and everybody kind of worked that day. So I was like, I'll just take the brunt of it. My sister, of course, shout out to Calcano Events. Miss Carolyn came the night before. It motivated me to take down my Christmas tree so we can have this space to decorate and just have this space to host. And we did all apps, so all appetizers, finger foods. So everyone can kind of like pick throughout the night. I had everyone arrive between 8 and 9 p.m. so we can kind of last to midnight. Because your girl was already tired. But nonetheless, the show went on. And it was a good old time. I think I finally went to bed like at 3 in the morning-ish. I think my family was still up to like 4-ish. And I was like, y'all go ahead because Caleb, it's time. So I just went to like lay down with him. And the party went on. The next day just got sancocho. So your traditional Dominican New Year's Day meal is a sancocho or a mondongo. So had that. And then we started watching Squid Games, the second season.
Yeah.
I think we're like on episode 3 or 4 now. Crazy. Very crazy. It's just like, it's always so cool to me how like someone creates a show like that. Like what goes on in your brain, but it's very cool. But that was mine. How was your New Year's?
It was okay. So my husband's friend hosted a party at his house, and we went there. And when I was telling my parents, "Oh, we're gonna go to a party," they were like, "Do not bring the kids. Absolutely not." So they were like, "Bring them here. Let them sleep over. They'll stay with us." And I was like, "Pff, "Say less."
Thank you.
I'm like, "Here you
Shout out
go."
mom and
Exactly.
dad.
So they stayed over. They had a blast at grandma and grandpa's house because they just get away with everything. And then we went to our friend's house, and I just kind of chilled there. My friend that DJ'd Zochella,
Okay.
he DJ'd that as well. So
I
it
love
was
that.
nice. So
That's always
mm,
fun to have
yeah,
a
a
live
live DJ that actually
DJ.
knows what the hell they're doing. So shout
Yes.
out to
And not playing
Louie.
somebody else's
Exactly.
mixes. You're
So
playing your own.
it was really fun. And then we left around like 2:30, something like that. And
That's enough.
I just want to go home and put on my pajamas and sleep. And then the next day I actually was like, you know what? I'm actually gonna sleep. I'm not going to try to wake up and be superwoman at like, because the kids are not here. Let me finish everything. I woke up at 11:45.
Good for
I
you.
know. I'm like, what is happening? And then my head hurt after. And it wasn't from drinking because I had one high noon. So it wasn't
But
even.
sometimes it's
No,
that. And
it
I was
was
gonna
it was
oh
because
no.
I slept a long time.
Oh, it was too much sleep. Your
My
body was
my
like,
body
what
was
is
like,
this?
ma'am, because I could tell when I have a hangover headache and when I have like a regular headache. But this one
Gotcha.
was like a pressure on the eyes kind of headache, and I was like, oh crap, like it's because I slept too long. And I'm like, damn you, body. Why can't I rest?
We can't win.
we
We
can
can't
we
win with
cannot
the
win.
rest.
We can't
Because I
win.
actually ended up waking up when Caleb woke up, and I'm like, bro, you went to sleep at 3 a.m. Like, at least get me till 10 a.m. Like, you don't want to get 7 hours? Nope, 8 a.m. But then
Absolutely
he pretty
crazy.
much like crashed like early
Mm.
that day, so it worked out. But I'm sure you guys listening, are you still catching up on that New Year's Eve, New Year's Day sleep? And it also, what was it? The next day following Thursday, it was a Thursday. I literally thought it was
Yeah.
Monday. I think somebody said it was the most Thursdayest,
It was the
Mondayest,
most Mondayest
Mondayest.
Thursday ever. And it's so true. But my kids started school on Thursday.
Oh no,
I was
Caleb
so
was still
excited.
home.
I was like, absolutely. Take these children. Take them now. Can I drop them off early? Do you have a pickup program? Like, I'm like, get them out of the house.
No, yeah, everybody went back, and even my nieces went back, and that's why they left my house a little bit earlier that Wednesday
Mm.
to, just get back into the swing of it. And then Caleb was like, "Do I go to school?" And I was like, "I wish, but you still have until Monday."
Yeah. So tomorrow, like, wait, yeah, we're recording on Saturday. So like on tomorrow, you're gonna be like, yes, no Sunday
No,
scaries.
no, yeah, I never have Sunday scaries, and I think I've said this
Yeah.
before. I love Mondays because everybody. Well, Calvin goes off to work, Caleb goes off to school, and I come home and I'm like, it's just me, myself, and I. I absolutely love it. It's like that me time
Yeah.
as a mom that you need, especially like on the weekends. We talked about it in the prior episode. It's always go, go, go
Mm.
nonstop. And then Monday is just kind of like, hey, I feel like Monday is kind of like my reset day.
Mommy Monday.
Yeah, mommy Monday. Sunday is kind of like my pre-reset. Like I'll do whatever I needed to get done. But I was like, if I don't get it done on Sunday, I have all the time in the world to do it on Monday.
Yeah.
I love Mondays here.
Nice.
So
Nice.
I'm actually really looking forward to this Monday, and you guys will be listening to us on Monday. So
Yes. There
happy
you go.
Monday.
Happy Monday. Well, let's just get into this episode because I'm actually excited about it, to be
Me too.
honest, because we had mentioned this before in the first episode. We keep going back.
I know.
We're like,
Well, we're tying it
yeah,
all in for
it's
you
all
in a nice
in a
little
beautiful
bow.
bow.
Many bows.
Many bows. So we were talking about hobbies, you know, hobbies that we had as kids, newfound hobbies as adults, and like what that sparks in us. And I feel like everybody's like chasing, what is it, that dopamine boost and things like that. And then when you have, for me, especially like when I have a hobby that I'm interested or a new craft that I'm learning, oh my God, it is better than going shopping. When I create something, I'm like, this is so pretty. Or like when I see, like, I made this with these hands, with
With
these
these.
hands. So, what are some of the hobbies that, let's first start with what are some hobbies that you enjoyed as a child?
Okay. So, baby Cindy or little girl Cindy absolutely enjoyed the creative arts.
Mm.
Not the performing arts, because I was like, I don't want to be part of anything that I have to do a show for. I will never forget my mom trying to get me to do a flamenco class. And I'm like, hell no, because that means that there's a performance at the end of that. No, thank you. Put me in an art room by myself or whatever, something in the middle, a muse. And that is what I truly enjoy, just like kind of drawing. Was I great at it? No. And then just more hobbies were all of that, like just making little doll
Mm.
houses and pretending to be an architect. Like those were all my things. And what helped too, like spending summers in the Dominican Republic at that time, one of my aunts was going to school for architecture.
Mm.
So she would build these amazing like 3D models. And I will never forget, she used a bar of soap as a bathtub. Like she carved it out and made it into a bathtub. And I thought that was like the most amazing thing. And as a little girl, that everything just looks like a dollhouse.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
was like, you get to do that as an adult. And I was like, that is so cool. I want to be an architect when I grow up. And that was like my thing for a while, that I wanted to be an architect. And what else? Also just drawing like families.
Mm.
It was like the weirdest thing. I would literally have like I'll draw like the mom, the dad, and then like this is like literally a family tree. And I would go into the details, like draw their eyes and all that stuff. I think I kept a couple of those things. And it was just also just creating. I'll never forget, I think I still have that project from first grade.
Mm.
You were supposed to create a book. So getting like the construction paper, like even just the feel of construction paper now as an adult just brings back those cool ass memories of putting all this stuff together. And like I said, I have all this in a box because I couldn't obviously keep it all.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, just creating arts and crafts,
Yeah.
literally anything with that. I would think I was Picasso, you know, or like even paper mache, like those things. And I guess it's just more like the sensory of like touching those things and just feeling like the glue, you know, sticking to your hand, like peeling off the glue, like that feeling. I don't know. It's just, I just love that.
Yeah.
What about you as a kiddo, little
Oh my
Nora,
god.
baby Nora?
Oh my god. Little Nora had so many hobbies. So to your point, anything that I could create, I was doing that. And my sisters love to tell this story. And Hannah and Melek, if you're listening, you know what I'm about to say. So I too used to summer in my home country. So when we used to go to Morocco, so many street vendors, so many, and they would sell like cute like bracelets and stuff like that. So they were I know they have these in DR because I've actually seen them. So it's the ones with the string that say your name in like a different color and it's all done through string.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I taught myself how to do that.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
the guy was like sitting there and I always would see like, oh, how are they? And they would do it super fast. So I just kind of like looked and I'm like, well, I don't know what that plastic thing is, but I'm gonna take a shampoo bottle and I'm gonna cut it and then I'm gonna do that. And that's how I was making them. And I was like, I think I could do this in a pen too. And I just taught myself how to do it. And I'm like, this is how a letter E would look like, or like this is like, and I just
Very
taught,
resourceful.
oh, 1000%. So I did that. And then I picked up a hobby of like doing hair. And I'm like, how hard can braiding hair be? Like, it cannot be that hard. It wasn't. Like, and it's crazy because the brain that I like how my brain works, it's like one, very resourceful, and two, it's like I can make that. Like,
And she's still
yeah, I'm still
very,
like that.
very much so
Yeah, I'm
that.
like, I could do that. Like, I could buy it, but I'd
I'll
rather
make
make it.
it.
Or like, it'll look better if I make it because it's like I can control the narrative there. And it's carried over as an adult. But now with like all these new things that are out that weren't out at that time, like it makes it so much easier and obviously more it look kind of looks like it's manufactured when I make things because of my ultimate like perfectionist side when it comes to those things. But yeah, crafting, I can craft until the day that I die. Like I love crafting. It's so good. And anything again I can do with my hands, I'm like, this is amazing. But then if you ask me to like paint my nails, I'm like, this one looks so nice. And this one looks like
Yep,
it went
that that's
to like it was just so bad.
like the most beauty thing I think I could do on myself is my hair and now makeup. Like I was proud of myself for my New Year's Eve
Yes.
makeup, but those are things that I didn't care for when I was a child.
Mm.
And I think another hobby was also like pretend play.
Yeah.
We used to always do I remember I would pretend I was the bank. And then my favorite thing was literally cutting paper
And
and
make
making money off of it or whatever. And then I would be like, damn, I need some coins. Like, And I was just like, but
Damn,
it
I need some
wasn't
coins.
sustainable because obviously, like the little cutting out the little circle, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's so much work. We're just gonna stick to the bills. Give me the
No
paper.
coins. Round it up.
And then it's funny. And then I remember my sister like would play like doctor and things like that. Like she would be like, okay, and then my little brother would be the one like running his errands. Like, I gotta go to the bank. I gotta go see the doctor. And interesting enough, how that transpired in our adulthood is that I went into the finance field a little bit in the beginning. Actually, that's like what my degree is in from college is finance. Because again, at the time, I wanted to do HR. Specifically, my college did not offer an associate, not an associate, a
Bachelor's.
bachelor's in HR. So I was like, okay, I guess finance it is. And then my sister went into the medical field. So I was like, that's pretty funny.
You guys already had your future set in your
Right, like
pretend play.
we
You
manifested it,
manifested
which is
it.
funny because now I see Caleb doing his pretend play. So I'm like, what are you gonna do in the future? And most of it now has been cars consistently.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how we have these hobbies as children, and then obviously life happens and we kind of forget about them, or we feel like, oh, they're a waste of time, or I don't have time for that.
Mm.
But as I mentioned in the previous episode, shout out to Noda for putting together the retreat, the book retreat, and offering us all those crafting opportunities. Because as I sat there, I was like, wow, I forgot. I forgot how much I enjoy this. And yeah, sitting with Caleb and doing his craft and stuff like that, but that was for him.
Yeah.
I wasn't sitting there like grabbing my own thing. And I'm like, oh, you're gonna do Play-Doh? Like, let me just show you how to do Play-Doh. Not, oh, you create something, let me create something while you're creating. So that now I literally carried that out of there and being more intentional with creating more. Now, if Caleb's gonna sit there and build his Legos, I'm like, oh, let me grab some Legos myself and create something. Still that young Cindy that wanted to be an architect, I was like, I could still do this. And then also too, I guess it has transpired in now in my home
Yeah.
and things like that. And a little bit, I guess, of it more interior on the interior design side. So I'm still channeling some type of creativity using my left brain. But it feels so good. And I'm like, I can make time for this. And or I was like, I've already been doing this and haven't even realized,
Yeah.
you know? How about you? Like, do you feel like I mean, I feel like you maybe did you ever like stop crafting at all or anything throughout your entire adulthood? Or did you like
Um
pause it or kind of put it on the back burner? Or didn't even realize you were doing it?
so I've always had like a little bit of something that, like, for example, like at one point I wasn't like physically crafting, but I was into like hand lettering, and I was like, oh my god, I really want to learn how to do this or whatever. So I've always had a hobby to do. And then I was like really into jewelry making, and I always had something. It may
So
not
you
be,
kept fueling
yeah, I
it.
kept fueling it. But here's the thing. Um, what people don't really understand and realize, especially women and especially moms, like, once we have our child and then our hormones go crazy and then postpartum is rearing its head, we have to find an outlet. And a lot of times creative outlets, it's something that you can just do at home. It could be something that you just like to do, and that will definitely like help the healing process. So, I've been very, very open about my pre and postpartum depression when I had Elena and how difficult it was for me during that time. And I always found a way to go back into crafting. And that's when I had gotten my Cricut before Oliver was born. And then I went ahead and I did, like, I would make shirts or whatever. And I just started making things that made me happy, things that were for my kids, things like, gifts for other people. And I would literally take time and I'm like, I need 30 minutes to myself and I'm just going to go downstairs and I'm going to make something. And I still do that to this day. Like, if the kids are driving me freaking up the wall, or like I had a hard day at work, or I'm just like I'm in a funk, like, it's just one of those days, like it's a bad anxiety day, or like if my anxiety's through the roof, I let Alberto know. I'm like, you need to watch the kids. I need to go downstairs and I need to get some stuff done. Like, I just want to do, even if it's cleaning my craft area, it's fine. But I have a designated craft area with so many different things because ADHD brain, like I have to do all the
Do it
things.
all. Yes.
And I'm like, you know what? this week I'm really into creating like resin stuff. Like I'm really into that. I'm gonna make like 1,000 coasters. I'm
I'm
like,
still waiting
yes, I know. I
for.
need to bring your ashtray. um, and then if like, or then I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm really into making bracelets, and I'm really into like I'm just gonna make a bunch of shirts, or oh, my glow forge. Let me try to make this, and that brings me that brings my anxiety level down so much. But that's my outlet. So like, there's some people who are like, oh, they can do stuff online and whatever, and that brings their piece to I'm like,
Right.
for me, once I see it and I'm like, "Ooh, I made that." Like how
Like
and
the
it's yeah.
joy, but it's also a true I guess definition or example that art is therapeutic.
Oh, yeah.
And even through the diagnosis that I went through, one of the things that was offered that I still haven't taken advantage of was art therapy.
Mm,
And I was just like, you want me to sit there and paint? But then this was all before too, I think going to the retreat and getting all this information. And it truly is people. Like, even if you everyone says, "Oh, I'm not artistic." Everyone has some type of creativeness to them, and the fact that it's so different to others, that is where the uniqueness comes.
mhm.
That is what art is about. Art is definitely not dead. Yes, we're in this digital era, but there's so many cool artists and like local stuff. And I feel like a big hub near us here in northern New Jersey is Montclair.
Yeah.
Just like even the museum that they have there, I think there may be more than one, or these showcases that they have. I remember even going to a breast cancer a fundraiser, and they had all these cool things. One was like a sculpture
Mm.
art, other thing was like painting, other thing was like a comedic or comedy
Oh,
like
like the caricatures?
yeah,
Uh.
like oh no, just like the strip like what they have like in the
Oh,
newspapers like
yeah,
that. I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like that's art. That's all art. And that's like tangible, like physical, like stuff that we can touch art. So art is not dead.
It's not. It's not.
and and sometimes again it's like I feel like any of these hobbies can also become something that you could make money off of. And again, it's just making sure that you're not crossing that line of damn, now this is becoming stressful.
Yeah, I
Because
feel
that's how
like
I was
that's
with my cupcake thing. And I absolutely loved baking. And I started off just with a cupcake, a red velvet cupcake. Like if you know, you
you
know.
know.
And I was like, I have to make some for Nora, so at least you can try and be like, okay, now I know what
Yes,
everyone's
please.
talking about. But then I decided I was like, oh, and I think too, because again, social media, people were making cake pops and things like that. And then my customers started asking me for cake pops. And I was like, okay, I could do that. But making those cake pops
Oh my
was
god.
hell. And then I actually started hating it because baking for me became therapeutic. And especially like post military, and I was just like, "Oh, this is great." But then again, it started to become a headache. And then my work was like crap. I was like, I can't sell this shit. I was like, I should have just stuck, sometimes sticking to the basics and like just having two or three amazing, great, what is it? Quality over quantity is the best way to go. And that's why I feel like sometimes art can get frustrating or
Yeah.
hobbies can get frustrating because yes, you want to then turn that hobby into a business, but then you're doing too much.
And you
Like
get burnt
scaling it
out.
back. Yeah,
Yeah.
scaling it back and keeping it basic. That's why I said if I was like, if I were to ever go back to baking, I will literally just stick to
To the
just
cupcakes.
cupcakes
Yeah.
and then maybe outsource someone that specializes in cake pops.
Yeah.
Because even when I was starting to close my business down, I literally had already made friends in the baking circle.
Mm,
And I just out like I said, I was like, hey, I'm not gonna be baking anymore, but use this person for
nice.
this, use that person for this. Because another thing too, I never ventured. I was like, I'm never doing cookies. I was like,
Yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
not going there.
Yeah. That's
But
the thing, like, those kind of arts, like, it's so hard. It's so already, like, bakers, when they have those beautiful cakes or whatever, and then when you like, the lady that I was using that she's moving to Puerto Rico. I'm so sad because now I have to find a new cake lady. But,
if it wasn't the same cake lady, I think I got you on a cake
yeah.
lady.
So she what's it called? Like she specializes in cakes. She'll make a couple of cupcakes here and there, but she specializes in cakes. And I had asked her, I was like, "Do you do cookies?" And she's like, "Nope." She's like, she does Cakes.
Cakes.
That's it. And that's what like she's known for. And her name is literally Rosie Cakes.
Okay.
So, but she's moving to Puerto Rico. So
So I think it's we have a different lady. I'll send you the one
yeah.
because I like I said, I thought it was the same one that our dear friend Mari was using, but you said
Yeah.
that Mari used a couple different
Multiple.
ones. That
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
sense now.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
she just stuck to one
No, no,
person.
no. She used her before because, like, a lot of even though it's like a specific bait and you want to go to certain people, like when you have something in your mind, like you're like, I want this to look like this, you have to go to
Which is
different.
specific, or
Yeah,
sometimes too the availability.
yeah,
It's just not there because some of them obviously you have to give them that crazy month's notice. So, which
yeah.
again, respectfully, going into the baking world, or when I was in the baking world, it made sense. I was like, I need to plan out this baking schedule. Like, I can't do it like a last minute order. Like, I
Mm-mm.
am not a brick and mortar. I just don't have these cupcakes sitting here for you to just come in and buy. I have to. It's per order,
Yeah,
and then I started even getting more mindful with that because then obviously working a full time job, trying to turn this hobby into a business.
yeah.
It's a lot.
I have a lot of people keep asking me about Mama and like when you're gonna bring that back, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, do you understand how hard it is to like and people like unfortunately it's like people don't respect your time. They don't respect your time. They don't respect like all that. And then you're like, okay. And then that's where you get frustrated. That's where you get like,
Yes.
and then also it's like, oh, but you have that machine. Do you even know what this machine does? Like someone literally asked me, they were like, oh, what does your Cricut do? And I'm like, it's a cutting machine. It's literally a glorified scissor. Like that's what it does. And oh, okay. Can it print? And I'm like, oh my God, I just told you that
It
all it
cuts,
does is
not
cut.
prints.
Yeah, like that's it. But yeah, so I like to pick now my hobbies that will bring my anxiety down, bring me joy, and also bring me back to kind of like those, the
Little
simple times, the
and
easy
yes,
times.
the no stress added.
Yeah, yeah. So I love that. So, but yeah, that's what that's it's just very important. It's very important to have a hobby no matter what it is. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, so and so does painting or so and so. Whatever your hobby could
Right.
be like thrifting
Organizing
or
or
thrifting. Like that's a hobby.
couponing.
And
Yeah.
one hobby that we both picked up super crazy is our book reading hobby. We love
Yes.
it. And it's
Yes.
so like,
And that was also another thing
yeah.
that I forgot that I was doing when I was younger. I literally forgot that I like. I remember when fantasy like was mentioned. I was like, "What's fantasy?" I'm here thinking. I was like, "Is this the fantasy that everybody else?" Like my mind is going in the gutter, gutter. And I was like, "Wait, no." I was like, "Oh, so like I read Twilight back in the day. I read Harry Potter. I didn't know the different genres or didn't care back in the day because again I wasn't an avid reader. Yes, I would love stories and movies and things like that, but to sit there and like physically read a book, and I will never forget, I was up till like 4 o'clock in the morning one time trying to finish Twilight. And this was also to before social media, before like spoilers, like you can't like
Yeah. Yeah.
watch something and then go on Instagram without finishing it because you're gonna get the spoilers.
Yeah. I feel like
So
that's
that
gonna
was
happen with
in
Onyx Storm.
this is a
No
book that's being
spoilers.
released.
No
this,
spoilers,
this
guys.
right. Like if you know, you
You know.
know. Um, but yes, then I was like, wait, I loved all this stuff. And then so thank you also for that, for introducing us or me, especially to the world of ACOTAR, which is a court,
Of
a thorn
thorns
and
and
roses. Because I
roses.
remember they kept this acronym. I was like, what is that? I'm clearly not in the bookish community because I had no idea what the heck they were talking about. I was like, oh, it's an acronym. Wait, I love acronyms because coming from the military,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
everything was acronyms. But leaving the military, I was like, all right, I can't be
Acronymic.
acronyming, acronyming stuff because not everybody processes things like that.
Yeah.
So when I was like, oh, an acronym, yes. And then what was the next one? Iron. Well, no, not the
So
fourth wing.
yeah, fourth wing. So
So
that's
those two worlds,
but
wow.
you also love powerless.
Oh
Yeah,
yes, yes,
that
because
was
that was
yeah.
actually the first one, and I
Yeah.
remember like reading. I was like, "Oh, this is interesting," but it's not something that I would have picked up on my own.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not on TikTok like that, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what the bookish community is up to or why.
Yeah.
And I literally visited the Collective bookstore
Mhm.
in Verona, and I literally said, I was like, "Thank God for TikTok." Like one of the good things that's coming out of social media is that it's bringing back the love for reading. Like even
Mhm.
Barnes and Nobles, they're actually like opening up more bookstores when
They
They
were
thought they were gonna
yeah.
have to be closing bookstores down, and then a lot of these mom and pop bookshops that
And now they're
everyone
just
is
popping up. Yeah,
gravitating
and they're popping
towards.
up
Yeah,
everywhere,
and
which I love.
I love that
Yeah.
again because it's supporting small business. Like yes, Barnes and Nobles is there, Amazon is there because sometimes like oh it's cheaper to order on Amazon, but I was like I want to go to an actual bookstore, interact with people,
Yeah.
talk to them about these books. Like why are you so excited about that book or what was so exciting about it?
Mhm.
Just having that conversation. Got to do that a little bit when I went to the collective bookstore. So shout out to them. They are in Verona. If you're here in New Jersey, definitely go visit them. They have a cool little speakeasy in the back. In the back, they also have a children's section. They do story times on Saturdays.
Hmm.
So
I'm
check them
like
out.
I'm like, "Caleb, Saturday's back."
No,
She's
yeah,
about to be
I was like, oh my
like
god, at what time? She was like at 11. I was like, yep, doesn't fit our schedule. But if it fits yours, and again, these are free things. I think Barnes and Nobles was doing it back in the day. I don't know if they brought it back as well. So
Yeah.
another little
Tidbit.
um hobby, free hobby
A
you can
free
pick up,
hobby. Yep.
with your child or for yourself. Like, hey, why not? And I think there's a cool coffee shop down the street in Verona, La Bella Cafe. Remember when I went to do the
Yeah,
Bridgerton thing? I
that's
remember when I
it.
was driving away, I was like, oh, it's right here. I don't know why. Obviously, I know Verona is a smaller town, but I was like, oh shit, it's right there. So it's cool because like you can go to the coffee shop, support a local coffee shop, go to the bookstore,
Yeah.
and just
Mm.
do your thing, do
Do
your
your
hobby,
thing.
do your
Do
hobby.
your hobby at Hobby Lobby.
Hobby. That's another freaking story.
Yo,
Jesus.
I can get lost in there.
I
It's crazy because it's like you have like your Michaels, your Hobby Lobby, blah blah blah. But I'm like Hobby Lobby. I just feel like I go and I get all the stuff decor style. Like their hobby
It's like a
area
one
is not.
stop.
Yeah, like they
It's
don't have that many things though. Like
I,
for
it's-
hobbies.
I feel like more like you got to go towards the back.
No, I've been there.
Yeah.
Oh girl, no, I've been there. I've been looking, but
But
I
I
go to
think
my truck.
you're right. It's like
Yeah,
turning more, I feel like, into decor. But I feel like when they first had
it
them,
was supposed to be for hobbies.
just hobbies. But I guess home decor is a
It is.
hobby.
No, it is. It definitely is.
And they
But
inspire
yeah.
you to create things.
So like to reiterate, just finding a hobby, no matter what it is, just to bring you a little more peace and happiness in your heart and just kind of spark that joy is extremely important because you owe it to yourself. Everybody talks about self-care and getting your nails done, getting your hair done, doing all these things like going out with your friends, but taking that time to recenter something for yourself, grabbing that book that you like with a cup of tea or a glass of wine or a cup of coffee or whatever, or and just finding that something that is 100% yours that brings you joy because you selected that hobby
Yes.
is so empowering. I think it's so and it does help a lot with depression, anxiety, just overall routine.
And it's the main thing. And if
Yeah.
you aren't in therapy, you know that therapist has asked you, what are your hobbies? I don't fucking know. No,
Yeah.
let me stop. Because like when they ask me,
Surviving.
I get right, I get caught off guard. But again, if you are in therapy, you know you've been asked this, or if you're planning on starting therapy, just and I mean they also help you uncover a hobby, and it's also that tapping into your inner child. If
Exactly.
you do that, because you're like, oh, I don't know what my hobby is, do a little bit of like, I guess like quiet time, quiet your mind for, I don't know, a minute. And remember that inner child, like what did you enjoy doing as a little kid that you can transition that into your
Adulthood.
adulthood?
Yeah.
And you're gonna be like, oh wow. Again, like Nora said, it could be anything.
Anything. And
And
try
it's
different
unique to
things.
you.
Yeah,
Yes,
like
that
try
too.
different things. It doesn't and like do not let social media fool you.
Facts.
Everything does not need to be monetized. All your hobbies do not need to be made a business. Like when I make things, people are like, you could sell this. I'm very well aware that I can
And
sell
I'm
these
one of those
items.
people
And
pushing
I'm
her like
like,
you can stop.
yeah, and I'm like, when you sit there and think like that takes the joy away from it. If if making so many of it and that stress or whatever that ignites you, go ahead
Do
and
it.
do
Make
what
your
you make
coin.
your coin. But if it's something to bring you peace and just bring you back and you want to sit down and you're like, this is me time. This is 100% selfish me time doing something that literally brings me so much joy, so much peace, and also just
Regulates
regulates
you.
your
Like it's so
emotions. And
important.
that's what you need to find. So let us know in the comments what
Yes.
your hobbies are, what your hobbies were as a
Were.
kid, and then what your hobbies are as an adult. And like, what hobbies we should try. Like what things
Right.
we should
Like
try. Like I've
give
I
us
see
something like mad weird
yeah,
or that you think is weird, but we're probably
yeah.
like, oh shit, that's cool as hell.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what do you
Right.
make?
Never thought of
Yeah,
that.
like I used to try to do it's like a specific type of stitching in Morocco, and I actually used to go to like the little old ladies that would do it like all the time and sit with them, and they taught me how to do it.
Well, remember, I wanted to start doing what is it?
Yeah, it's
Is it
it's
embroidery?
embroidery,
Like
but
what they
it's
do
like
well, you don't
yeah,
watch Bridgerton, but what they sit there and do, like
yeah,
they used to do back in the day, sit there with their tea time, and
yeah.
they're
That's
making
just
this.
so that's so amazing. Like I'm like, imagine just sitting there just trying to like, what did you make today? You're like, I made a tea napkin. Like
That's what I'm
this is
saying. I was
great.
just like, that's why I feel like a lot of we again, yes, we're living in modern society and everything is digitized, but I feel like going back to some older
Yeah.
ways, like obviously you don't have to sit out there and milk your cow by yourself, but
Yeah.
find again things that people used to maybe do back in the day that you could still do in the modern world. Like, oh, you could be a modern, like they say, modern homesteader.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you still have cows in the back, but you enjoy getting that Amazon package.
You're like, I got my
You know?
chickens running around in the backyard. Oh wait, it's my Amazon package.
Exactly. Or I think there's that one homesteader that I follow who's like, yeah, I'm here cleaning out my chicken coop in my Yeezys.
Not the
And I was
Yeezys.
just like, yes, this is the type because I was like, for instance, like I know like Nara Smith, she does a lot of stuff, but her stuff is more because of health issues that she started making all this stuff herself. But then of course everybody's making fun of her on the internet. But I'm like, y'all not getting it. Sometimes going back to the basics, keeping things simple is what we need to move forward.
Yeah.
But
So yeah,
that's
find your hobbies.
yes.
Let us know. And we'll catch you in
The
the next
next one. And
episode.
don't forget to
Like,
like,
subscribe,
subscribe,
and
follow,
follow.
share.
Please
If this resonated with you, share it.
share it up
Also,
with a
if you
friend.
didn't watch the episode before this, go watch it. And there will be another episode after this to watch if you're not watching this as we're releasing it. So just
And
just
turn
keep
your
watching.
turn your notifications on. And
For
then you'll just
real.
know. You'll know when we're
Turn those
posting.
notifications. Bing, bing, bing. Beep, beep, beep.
All right.
Well, we love you guys. Thank you as always. I am so happy to be here in
Same.
this new space, nice and bright, clear sounding for you. Again, shout out to Rich One Eye Photography. Always having
All
our back. The podcast angel.
Yes, our podcast angel.
I remember this.
Yes, our podcast angel. All right,
Thank you,
guys.
thank you, thank you, guys.
Bye bye.
Ciao, ciao, Mickey Mouse.